With the MLB offseason now in full swing and the hot stove heating up, it's that time of year where every Major League Baseball covering YouTuber and media personality throws their offseason predictions at a wall to see what sticks. And I'm going to throw my hat in that ring as well. Now, I want to mention, I'm no stat head nor am I a super fan of any team. This is just going to be my generally neutral predictions. Some of these are going to be about teams, some about players, and they'll probably all just age like milk because they are based on mostly just, I have a gut feeling, let's go for it. Let's dive right in with prediction number 1. We're starting it a bit slow. Walker Buehler will sign a 1-year prove-it deal. Yes, I know, his World Series performance will boost his value as a free agent, even if just by ever so little. Still, I do not see teams giving him a long-term deal, considering he is still coming off his second Tommy John and he hasn't been good in the regular season, pitching to a 1-6 record with 5.38 ERA in 16 starts. That's why for him I predict he'll sign a 1-year deal, possibly with some player or mutual options attached for additional years, try and prove he still got it, and if he succeeds, he'll opt out and test the market again next offseason. Prediction number 2, this is a bit of a fun one. Somebody will get Borised. What does that mean? Well, Scott Boras has a lot of clients on the market this year, including Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Sean Manaea, Ha-Seong Kim, Alex Bregman, Corbin Burns, and 2 that have already signed, Yusei Kikuchi and Blake Snell. And I predict that at least one of them is going to find himself in a situation like Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery did last season. Overvalue themselves, or Boras does that for them, and they end up signing late for a short-term high-value deal with an opt-out, so they basically get a prove-it deal. Now we're moving on to probably the biggest one, and the one that's going to start the most controversy if this gains any traction, and that is prediction number 3. Juan Soto won't get anywhere near $700 million. Personally, I do not see how teams would give 60 to 70 mil a year to a player that, according to some projections anyway, projects as a long-term DH considering he isn't great defensively. Although if he gets a 15-year deal, that's a different story, but I don't see him getting that 60 to 70 million AAV. Either that, or a team overpays for him like crazy and ends up regretting it down the line. One of the two. Prediction number 4, this is arguably my favorite one that I've made. Rich Hill will get signed to a contract if he chooses to. Now, with Rich Hill, we all know the guy's never gonna retire. And he performed really well at the Premier 12 tournament that was held just very recently, pitching 10 to 3rd innings, giving up no earned runs in his, I believe, 3 starts. He'd be a good veteran presence in a pitching staff, and I predict somebody will take a flyer on him and give him a cheap, maybe $2 to $3 million deal for a year if Rich Hill chooses to keep playing and play at the major league level. Prediction number 5, the Dodgers will not be the top spending team. Now, I know the Dodgers have already addressed one of their biggest needs in a lefty starter by signing Blake Snell to a 5-year, $180 million deal, I believe. However, I do not see them making any big $500 million signings. However, I do see them bringing back some of their pieces from the World Series roster, say Teoscar Hernandez, Kike Hernandez, or the like. I believe they will be, in total, outspent by teams like the Mets, Yankees, and potentially a flyer team like the Rangers in free agency this season. Prediction number 6, the Angels don't DFA Anthony Rendon just yet. Sorry, Angels fans, I know a lot of you are hoping for it. Now, Rendon has 2 years left on his deal with about $76 million tied up to him. I feel like they're not going to want to eat that contract just yet. I feel like they're going to let it run until at least spring training. And if Anthony Rendon continues to prove that he just does not want to be there, they're just going to tell him to do one, take the money and leave. But just not yet. Prediction number 7, Garrett Crochet will remain on the White Sox and won't be traded. Now, as good as he was in 2014, I personally don't see him getting traded. If they didn't do it at the deadline, I don't see it now. Now, admittedly, Crochet kind of shot himself in the foot with his no extension, I don't pitch in the playoffs at the deadline, so that may come into play. However, I believe the White Sox are going to try and be sort of smart considering they're saying they're trying to get the young guys that they have up to speed. I feel like they're going to hold on to him and try to build around him as the ace. They're going to rely on young guys, as I've already said, and that's been confirmed by their GM. And if that rebuild that they're planning doesn't pan out until the 2026 trade deadline, which is the last season Garrett Crochet is under arbitration for, that is, I believe, the time to trade him if he remains as good as he has been throughout his first season as a starter. Prediction number 8. This is the one and only player to team prediction that I'll make. Corbin Burnes returns to the Orioles. After a strong 2024 and playoff disappointment, the Orioles will be active in free agency. And a good place to start is to get an ace for their mostly young rotation. I say mostly young because Zach Eflin's still in there. He's a bit on the older side, but then you got Grayson Rodriguez, Dean Kramer, Kate Povich. They need an ace for that, and Corbin Burnes would be a great fit. Considering his partnership with Baltimore worked out incredibly well in 24, he finished 5th in AL Cy Young voting and gave them their best playoff start that franchise had ever seen. So I predict the two are going to reunite. And that's my 8 predictions. Let me know what you think of them. Leave your own predictions in the comments. And with any luck, some of these are going to age like wine, and probably most of them are going to age like milk. Either way, thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.